when the blues go marching in, oh, when the blues go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number, when the blues go marching in, oh, when the blues.
If you bleed blues, then this is the show for you. The Bluenote Fan Report, hosted by...
Aloha Blues fans, or I should say, aloha hockey fans. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and welcome to the Bluenote Fan Report. Well, there were 16 teams, now there's 8. As we move into round 2, I'm going to break down the 4 series that are up. Breakdown's not the right word. I'm going to go over them a little bit. Talk about how I feel about them. And unfortunately, Mike Dante was going to do this with me, but we were unable to connect due to our the time zones and our work schedules. But he sent his picks in. So at the end, I'll show both of our picks. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Yes, you got to subscribe. You know why? Because I got to drive. I'm driving to 300. And please, lots of thumbs in the air. Lots of thumbs in the air. Because this show is by a fan, for the fans, and about you, the fans. So how about we start becoming okay, Blues fans. So we're going to get started up in the top portion of the bracket with the, the top portion of the bracket with the Atlantic, number 2, the Boston Bruins, against wild card 2, the Columbus Blue Jackets. No team in the playoffs, still in the playoffs, is more of a surprise than the Columbus Blue Jackets after they swept the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was their Cinderella. You know, a lot of people thought Blues were Cinderella. Well, in the West they might be, but in the East, it is absolutely the Columbus Blue Jackets. Sergei Bobrovsky, Bob, has played outstanding in goal, has like a 950, 960 save percentage. Boston has, I think it's Matt Duchene leading the way with 9 points. This series is going to be a tough one. Boston has played 7 games, and because they played 7 games already, and they just finished, and they play again tonight. So this is the other Thursday matchup. This is the one. This is the game that is pushing the Blues game back to 7:30. Because of that, I think that the Blue Jackets can come out fast and strong. And, you know, if the Blue Jackets get behind, they've shown it doesn't bother them. You know, game 1, they were down 3-0. And, you know, the next thing you know, they're sweeping Tampa. This is going to be an interesting series to watch. I have said all along that I thought the winner of Boston and Toronto had a good chance at getting to the Stanley Cup Finals now that Tampa was out. I still believe that. And Boston is a cup contender in my eyes. So now we're going to move down in the Eastern bracket to the other number 2 seed that advanced, the New York Islanders, who I had said was going to shock the world. And even though they were a 2 seed, they were the underdog in their series. Didn't matter. They swept the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the other surprise in the Eastern Conference, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Storm Surge. Got to tell you, them winning that series absolutely shocks me. I mean, that's almost to me a big of a shock. Has Columbus sweeping the Lightning. This series is a goaltender series. Robin Lanier, the goalie for the Islanders, is up for the Vezina Trophy. He's had an outstanding year. They are very well coached. Their coach, whose name just went bling, Also coached Barry Trotz, who coached the Washington Capitals to a cup last year, has got this team poised to be a cup run. Carolina, I'm thinking that the slipper doesn't fit anymore. I know when we mentioned picks that me and Mike disagree on this, and Mike outpicked me in the first round. I think for the most part, I think he called some things that I would have never seen. It's just surprising to me. This series could go the distance, but I don't think it will. At least that's my opinion. So from there, we're going to scoot on over in the West to the San Jose Sharks and the Colorado Avalanche. Now, I want to talk about the Sharks here first. Twitterverse, Facebook, everywhere is still up in arms, up in arms, up in arms, up in arms over the call. In fact, two of the officials that were part of that call are not being allowed to referee in the second round, which I think is a mistake. I want to tell you something, and this is my take on this. I think something that is very important is being forgotten here, is that there was still an infraction. The cross-check. The cross-check is the most important part of this whole equation. Dallas Eakins cross-checked Joe Pavelski, plain and simple. Now, I've heard everyone say, and this has been the main argument, well, they haven't called it all game, and they didn't call it all game. Well, here's my argument to that. 9 cars run a stop sign. Cop sitting right there lets them do it. You're the 10th, you run the stop sign, he pulls you over. Does running the stop sign make it right? Should he not give you a ticket because he didn't give the other 9? You still ran the stop sign. It was still a cross-check. Now, let's add on to this. The cross-check caused subsequent events. To me, if the cross-check goes away, these subsequent events don't happen. So the cross-check is the most important thing. Cross-checking of Joe Pavelski takes him off balance. This is very important to me. Because he's off balance, I think he hits the ice no matter what. Being off balance, he falls into Stastny. Paul Stastny. I hope I said that right. Falls into Paul Stastny. Falling into Paul kind of pushes him away, and he falls even further and hits the ice. Upon hitting the ice, his head hits the ice and his helmet cuts his head. Now, you can say that the events, that what cut his head was his helmet when he hit the ice. That's fine and dandy, but all the events are related. Take away the cross-check. The cutting of the head doesn't happen. Now, let's go back to my scenario with the cars. This time when you run the stop sign, you hit somebody. Well, wait a minute here. They let everybody else run the stop sign, so I shouldn't get a ticket for running the stop sign. And since I shouldn't get a ticket for running the stop sign, the fact that I hit somebody shouldn't matter. That's exactly the argument that is being made in the San Jose case. No, you ran the stop sign, which was the initial infraction. Anything that happens because of the infraction increases or makes the initial infraction worse. That is my take on the San Jose penalty and the 5-minute major. Hope it clears something up, and I hope it makes you go, a little Arsenio for you old fuckers like me. Now, what do I think is going to happen in this series? The Avalanche look good. They really do. The Sharks are a tough team. They just played 7 games. The Avalanche basically breezed through the Flames. This game starts on Friday, giving San Jose a little bit more of a rest. This one's got barn burner written all over it. And I'll kind of leave it at that. So let's move up to the Blues versus Stars. Now, you may have seen, and if you did, there's a little eye that will link my preview of the Stars series and what I thought were the X factors. The Blues stars have to be stars, right? Vladimir Tereshchenko, Ryan O'Reilly, Jaden Schwartz, Brendan Shin, Robbie Fabry, if he gets in. I mean, Fabry 2 years ago against Dallas was fantastic. Those guys have to be your stars in this series. They have got to score goals. They have got to click. They've got to make things happen. And they have to take Dallas out early. Now, the problem with this is Big Ben Bishop. In my earlier video, I talked about him being from St. Louis and how psychologically, no matter what anybody says, that could affect things. I hope it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure it will. This series is going to be a goalie series. And it's going to be the goalie that gets out of his head the quickest that will win this series. That's my quick take on it. Again, I did a longer video. The little eyes up there was up there. And if you don't see the eyes, I'll give you a little hint. If you're watching it on your phone, if you kind of touch your phone, you'll get the outline, the control panel. Then you should see it, the eye at top. If you touch the eye, it'll show you all my cards. Any polls I may run, which no one ever answers, or subsequent or other later videos that may go good with this video. So check that out. So now I'm going to get to the picks. So we'll start at the top in the East. Mike is picking the Bruins in 5. I think the Bruins are going to win that one, but I actually think that one will go 6. Columbus is all in. And they've got a good goalie. A hot goalie can take you a long way. Dropping on down to the Canes versus the Islanders. Mike is taking the Canes in 7, which really surprised me, but he thinks that these guys are all together. I'm taking the Islanders in 5. This is a good team, a very good team. And Barry Trotz has them poised to move forward. So we'll move over to the West in the Pacific side. Sharks and Avs. Mike has the Sharks in 7. Oh, sorry, Mike. I'm not with you on this one. I actually think the Avs in 5. No, I'll make that 6. The Avs in 6. I think they're a better team, and I think they're showing it. I would really like to meet them in the Western Conference Finals if we get that far. So we'll move on up to the Blues and the Stars. Mike is picking the Blues in 6. And now I'm giving a lot of thought to this one. And this one could go either way. This is definitely a 7-game series. However, I really don't think it's going to go 7. The telling part of it's going to be game 1 and 2. Blues need at the bare minimum a split, if not winning both of them, and then splitting in Dallas. They cannot let this series go the way the Jets series did. I just don't see that happening. But I am with Mike on this. I'm going to go Blues in 6. Ran a little bit longer than I wanted, so I'll do a third show for the power rankings. And I also have a special challenge coming up in that show. So look for the round 2 power rankings coming up. Blues fans, or should I say hockey fans, I say aloha, mahalo. This is the Hawaii Blues fan, bleeding blue with you. And I'll see you on the next Bluenote Fan Report.
Oh, when the Blues go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number. When the Blues go marching in, oh, when the Blues go marching in, oh, when the Blues go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number when the blues go marching in. Oh, when the blues go marching in. Oh, when the blues go marching in.